Hey, welcome back to Two Super Guys Trade Stocks. I'm Dylan.
I'm Vinny.
Today, what we're going to look at is Grant Cardone saying something I greatly disagree with. And it always doesn't sound great when you are not a billionaire disagreeing on the financial advice of a billionaire, because, I mean, clearly we would have to be wrong. But this is the dumbest possible thing I've ever heard him say. So we're going to take a look at it.
Oh, all right. I'm excited for this. I thought this was going to be a Grant Cardone in a positive light, so I'm happy it's a little Grant Cardone bashy because, that guy rubs me the wrong way. If you guys enjoy this kind of entertaining stock market content, two stupid guys trading stocks, talking all things personal finance, by all means, give us a like and subscribe below. We'd love to have you along in this little adventure of ours.
Two stupid guys trade stocks.
All right. So we're going to play the video. It's about a minute, 30 seconds. Yeah, let's see how this goes. This is on Vlad TV. There we go. Oh,
Never heard of it.
came up right there.
Okay,
It's got like 5 million.
so now you have this massive amount of real estate. What I found interesting also,
fair.
I watched
True.
one of your videos, and this is something that I do as well. I have a property in Calabasas. I have a big, a nice size house in Calabasas. I also have an apartment in New York City.
Which two normal
I
people
rent
would
both.
have, right? It's fine.
Sure.
I don't own any property.
Yeah.
In terms of where I live.
Okay.
Here you are with a $1.2 billion net worth, and you don't own a house, a personal house.
Yeah. I rent my house.
Right.
I get a better loan on it because I rent it. I could I could have a LLC own it and rent it back to me, and I'd still get a better deal. So,
Okay.
I rent where I live.
Coming up.
I treat houses like hospitals. You get in, you get out.
This part doesn't make any sense. Just, I don't.
Yeah.
The grocery store, Whole Foods. I don't buy the whole grocery store. I go get the stuff I need, and then I leave. And
understand.
houses were
Right
built
here.
for banks. They weren't built for people. They were built for banks. And then the people were lied to and said, "Oh, a house is a great investment." A house is one of the dumbest, worst investments a human being could possibly make for one reason. You have to pay the house doesn't pay you. And if it doesn't pay you, it's not a good investment.
Okay. I get his point.
Okay.
So, okay. So basically, what he's saying is that your own individual home is not an investment; it's a liability because you have to pay money for it, and it's not generating cash flow towards it for you.
True. That's fair. I get that. He's wrong,
Me too.
but I get it. Here's
Okay.
the problem with that. They're treating this as if everyone has $1 billion to where you could just buy properties, rent them out, and then make enough money to rent from someone else. That's not realistic. Most people don't have $500 million in cash, or I don't know, whatever he has. I feel like he probably doesn't have that much, but I mean, he definitely has a lot of real estate. What I'm trying to say, you can't just go rent, I'll use Arizona. You can't just go rent a property for $2,500, $3,000 a month and then also have a bunch of cash. If you do, great, but then have a bunch of cash and then have other rentals where you're making positive cash flow. The point where this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard is I bought a house in 2011. Just because I'm not making passive income off of it doesn't mean it's a great investment. It's quadrupled in price. And now, because I live in it and I was paying down the mortgage and, what have you, I can then refinance at a lower rate and now rent that property out. It became a rental. And then on top of that, we both went to school and spent stupid amount of money. I got to put all my loans, which, by the way, don't get me started on loan interest rates for post-grad. It's the stupidest thing. 9%? Why is that a thing?
Wow.
Terrible.
Yeah, that's aggressive. I think my
Yeah.
house was 7.6.
I had one at 8.5 or something like that. But anyways, I put them all. They're at 3.
Yeah.
Just put them in the house. Why is that not a great idea?
Yeah.
Mortgage is
get
cheaper
it.
than rent right now, and has been.
Interesting. Yeah. I think I was on actually Zillow this morning looking at my own house, and the mortgage payment itself, just principal and interest, is about $1,700. The principal, interest plus property taxes and homeowners insurance takes like $2,350, and the Zillow estimate for rent right now would be $2,500 selling that from my house.
So you're
So, yeah.
losing $800 in cash flow, and you don't have an appreciating asset. I don't understand how he can say it's the dumbest investment. A dumb investment is buying a brand new car. That's a dumb investment.
Oh yeah, horrible. Yeah, it's not a appreciating asset at all. I wouldn't say that it is a good investment, but I would say that it is a cheaper way of living, because you have to have a place to live regardless.
Yeah.
And I think that owning the home is advantageous over renting. That's what I would say. It's not an investment. I wouldn't call it that. It may or may not be the most valuable asset in your life. But to call it an investment, I understand. Investments should generate cash flow on a monthly basis, not negative cash flow. Maybe that's the contention, and I understand that.
That's fair, but what if you buy a house and then just keep the house and buy another house? You have to start somewhere. A lot of people can't just be like, all right, I'm gonna start investing in real estate. I'll just go buy 4 houses. Like, it's not how it works. I mean, if you inherited money, good for you. We would all really like that's dope. But most people don't just start off buying 4 houses or buying 5 houses. They buy one, and then, like me, buy another one, and then that one is now a rental with my student loans and is appreciated 400%.
It's awesome.
You literally can't do that if you were renting. You can't.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like if you're like a ladder climber, if you're someone that came from a family where it was like, paycheck to paycheck kind of living, and you want to be someone that builds like, like a large, substantial, like, amount of wealth for yourself personally, I think the ticket to that is buying a multifamily home early on in your life, or, home with like 4 or 5 bedrooms, whatever that was doing on your first home. And, living in part of that and renting out the rest. And that is how you build yourself a solid foundation where you'll eventually have this cash flow positive asset that's appreciated in value as well. You can use that as a foundation to build and add additional, cash flow investments over time too.
Yeah, and honestly, and I was saving this to the end because it completely ruins his point immediately. You buy your first home, you rent out the other rooms. So already that whole, well, it's not a great investment. You're no longer getting passive income. You are. I was literally having enough to pay the mortgage. I was living for free and making $1,000. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
It's easy. If you're able to buy a house, just rent the rooms out. Does it suck? Yeah. Do people leave dishes in the sink? Yeah. It's very frustrating, and it happens a lot. Are you going to get into fights? Definitely. But you're going to be so much farther economically because of it. Not even close.
Yeah.
You should buy a home over renting every single time.
Do you follow Spencer Cornelia on YouTube here? He's a big house hacking guy, talks about fake gurus a lot. So he actually house hacked, and the first house hack he bought was in Vegas, and like per him, not in a great neighborhood. He had a retired MMA fighter at one point, like literally in his face, like threatening his life apparently, and there was another tenant that like caused a house fire. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are prices to pay, but yeah, I completely understand your position on that.
Oh no, I had my share of. I didn't do background checks on people. I went through that. That's the story for another time.
Yeah.
Not great.
I love it.
Still paid rent though, so still worked out.
Yeah, that counts.
All right, guys. I saw this clip and it's old. Also, he's said this like 10 times because this clip came across my Instagram feed, and so I just searched for it. It's just him in a bunch of different outfits saying that it's the dumbest investment possible. So he's been doubling down on this for years.
I get there's a kernel of truth, but yeah, the way he presents it.
There's a kernel of truth if you have $100 million. Okay, fine. Yeah. Sure, go rent. Who cares? Not a kernel of truth for 99% of people. That's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think.
Yeah, catch you guys in the next one. We'd love to hear your comments.